Hi, everybody. Welcome to Chapter 4 of our Meet Our Honors faculty here at the Honors College in Texas A&M University-Texarkana. My name is Craig Nicashin. I'm the Dean of the Honors College, and today I am joined by my colleague, Dr. Joe Burzynski, Associate Professor of English, Writing Program Coordinator, and Co-Director of our Office for Teaching and Faculty Advancement. So thank you for joining us, Dr. Burzynski.
No problem. Glad to be here.
Amen. So, a few questions to lead off with. Basically, just tell us where you're from, what brought you to Tammet, how long you've been here, etc.
Sure. Well, thanks again for the opportunity to speak to the honor students and the Honors College more broadly. Uh, I'm originally from the Northeast, Western New York. The Buffalo, New York area is where I'm from. Although my family's from as far afield as parts of it in New York City, parts of it in kind of the more west central part of the state. But I'm kind of a Northeasterner by temperament, and I guess by culture. You can probably hear by my voice and perhaps Dr. Nikashin's voice too that we're not necessarily native Texans. Texans by choice, I suppose. Um, I came here. I'm ending my ninth year here, so ending my first decade at A&M Texarkana. Uh, Came here directly after finishing my PhD program at Miami University, which is in Oxford, Ohio, not the University of Miami, which is in Coral Gables, Florida. As Miami University likes to say, we were a university before Florida was a state, and that's probably the only thing we hold our hat on. So yeah, I came here uh, from Ohio about 10 years ago. Um, what else am I meant to?
That's it. Yeah, basically, where are you from and what brought you to Tammet? They were hiring. That's what I always tell my people.
Yes,
Working for historians.
jobs are important.
That's not wrong. Um, yeah. Anyway, that's fair. I can talk more about Western New York later. But what got you interested in your discipline, and specifically, what is your discipline besides
Yeah,
English?
yeah. An English professor, uh, there is some latitude, not unlike history or any other discipline. We have specializations, and my specialization lies on the composition and rhetoric side of English. That is, my literature colleagues focus on analyzing texts. My side focuses on producing texts and kind of strategies and the history thereof. I mean, we do kind of hang our hat on, not like other disciplines, going all the way back to in the Western tradition to folks like Aristotle and Plato and what we think have cobbled together as the rhetorical tradition. Um, what got me what got me into my discipline, my area, was part pragmatic, not unlike anybody, but part pragmatic and part um, kind of ideal. One of the things, as an undergraduate student, back in the mists of time, back in the a time we call the 1990s, um, I was in my core classes, as you do at most universities. We have a core curriculum. And I was in a sociology class of all places, and the professor, he was someone who was kind of getting close to retirement, but he was a well-regarded figure on campus. And when I would be handing in essays, I'd be handing in exams and things like that, and he said to me, uh, Joe, I really like what you're thinking. I really like what you have to say. I really like how you contribute. I like the thought that's going on up there, but I cannot get through your writing. Your writing is impenetrable. It's, whether it's kind of basic conventions of a sentence or, how you're putting your essays together. It's just, it's tough for me. And there are ways that we do write in academia, in college. And yeah, I think you could use help. And while I can't necessarily provide that for you, or I mean, I can offer you my advice, we have this thing on campus called a writing center, and we have, of course, you're in your English composition classes. You may kind of take those a little bit more seriously than you are, and that was kind of my entry point. I started to pay a little more attention in my writing classes. To this day, over my desk in my office, I have my freshman handbook, if you will. It's Lynn Quitman Troika's Simon and Schuster handbook. I don't reference it anymore, of course, but it kind of just stands there as kind of a totem of like my earliest why I wanted to, or why I thought that becoming a writing teacher, I could help other people kind of in their journey to communicate a little bit better, to present themselves a little bit more clearly to the world. We communicate, we're evaluated, we're assessed, we present ourselves to the world through speaking and writing. And if you're not proficient in that, it can limit how people see you and how you can influence the world.
Yeah, awesome. Sorry, I forgot to put my don't disturb on, so I'm getting emails. I apologize. That's cool. I like that. Yeah, that's really interesting. And what's wrong with that handbook still? I'm sure it's still perfectly fine, right? Nothing changes in writing conventions ever, much like
Okay.
history in that regard.
Very
Um, I kid. We write just like Cicero did, but in a more interesting language. So, what specifically attracted you to joining the honors faculty?
Oh, uh, any num and well, a number of things. One, when I first came here, there were a number of folks who were working in the honors program or who were teaching honors classes. And they always talked about the quality of the class or the opportunity to team teach or just a lot of things that I don't want to say you can't do in other, but it's kind of the honors program lends itself to kind of slightly different ways of approaching the same course objectives that other people might. So, one of the that was my primary. Oh, wow, like you can. There's a not necessarily doing different objectives or kind of uh, doing whatever the heck you want, but it's the opportunity to do something just a little slightly different, with a slightly different group of students who are a little bit more inclined to go along with you and kind of ride hey, let's go off in this direction. And you all are smart enough and capable enough to kind of offer me a little bit of this rope, and if you'll follow along, we'll go on this ride together. So it was kind of, for me, it was the latitude, and kind of the promise of just something slightly different in my year to year teaching. I don't know if this was another question you're going to ask, but I in the honors class that I taught. It was a class that I hadn't taught before. It was a class that was kind of bumping around in my head, the title of which escapes me. But it was a class that I wanted to. I think it was the human thought. What's the class that
The
it's?
human experience?
Yeah, the human experience, or whatever
That's IS 1300, yeah.
whatever the title was. Um, but it was a class that was bumping around in my head. Like I would like to take a class from, again, our classical origins in rhetoric and the rhetorical tradition and pair it with civics and the politics of the day and how those things interact. And it was just an idea that I had, and the Honors College provided me with the opportunity to kind of carry it through. And
Yeah.
it was a memorable experience for me.
If I remember correctly, actually, I believe that we did that under the Honors 345 Advanced Academic Argument
Correct.
moniker.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's either a good or bad thing that it probably could have been either. In all seriousness, it's fine. But yeah, no, that's true. That is one of the great advantages, I think, of honors. So with that being said, we'll stick with honors for just a bit. What would you want students in the honors college to kind of get out of their experience in being in honors?
Oh, uh, I depth and breadth. I think the value added that being an honor student brings is yeah, kind of a depth and breadth to your experience that again, not to say that you can't get it in other places, but that the Honors College does provide you with it. It's in the foreground of what the Honors College does. It's not kind of in the background. It's brought to the front and said, okay, how do your classes, how do your disciplines, how does your thinking connect across these kind of these broad ideas? Higher education has such a tendency to be a silo, and okay, you're an English person, so this is the path you go down. The engineering, this is the path you go down. Honors provides you with that, frankly, that interdisciplinary, again, foregrounding that is kind of implied in the rest of our curriculum, but in honors, it accentuates it, it celebrates it, it makes it, yeah, a little bit more real, a little bit more at the front of your thinking.
Yeah. Now that makes a great deal of sense. It aligns with what we tell them as well, which is nice. And then the last kind of
Also,
thing,
donuts,
well,
donuts.
Donut Wednesday, that's what we're doing right now. Yeah, I already had one, but what is there anything you wish you knew as a student? This is kind of the traditional, if I knew then what I know now kind of question.
Yeah, poof. I, d- I can't imagine being a student today, for a number of reasons. Not to, I joke around with my students in classes and say, when I was a student, it was so much easier because, we had one place to go for information, and that was the library.
Right.
And it was a database. It was a computer sitting in a corner connected to the databases. And being a student these days is kind of a fraught experience because you have everybody kind of screaming at you from a million different directions, and you have a million different sources. And where do you find information? And how do you? So, uh, advice. It was the question, advice for a student, or
Yeah,
what was
what do
it?
you, I mean, I phrased it as, what do you wish you knew as a student, but you can
Oh,
also read it as how would you help guide students now?
yeah,
Either one's fine.
yeah, yeah. What I wish I knew was like about information and what makes information kind of good, credible, and what that means to our spaces here, again, in academia. When I'm in a classroom, I talk about how walking through the door of the class, you are suddenly in a different headspace. You're in a different intellectual space than if you were walking in through the halls, if you, let alone if you're off campus somewhere, if you're at your job or sitting in your kitchen or wherever. The things that are measured for credibility, the things that are measured for accuracy, for knowledge, for whatever. It's a different thing when you walk onto campus, when you walk into a classroom. And I think if I, if I knew that a little bit better, but also, yeah, I think today that's something that we all probably need to be a little bit more mindful of. Um, what is credible? What is authoritative? What is stuff that we should be listening to? And not just stuff that we, should or shouldn't be listening to, but why? Why is this a limiting thing, or why is this something that we should follow? That's kind of an ever-present something I certainly wish I knew. And it's something I proud, I continue in my life. How do I know what I know? How do I know what's credible? How do I know what path I should be going down? Um, anyway,
I mean, well, obviously, if it agrees with your pre-existing beliefs, it's credible. It's easy peasy.
obviously.
Yeah, I never really thought about it that way. That's interesting. Yeah, back when we were students, I mean, I started college in '96, and so yeah, that credibility thing was different because if it was in the library, surely it was credible, right? That
Yep.
was, someone else had curated it for you. You didn't have to really worry about it at that fundamental level. But no, it is a
Mhm.
different, yeah, it's a very different world out there.
Yeah. Pop open a Google browser and type in, we were in my class the other day, we were kind of, if somebody said the word tariff to you, how would you define it? Do you know what it is? And where do you start? And so if you, yeah, like everybody else, you pop open a Google browser and kind of cross your fingers and hope that it's gonna give you some good information. And that's the world we live in. We need
Yeah,
to, yeah.
that's cool. Thank you, sir. Anything else you want to share with the many, many, many followers
Oh, I'm
at Honors
sure.
College?
Yes. No, just if you've chosen to take this path, if you've chosen to kind of exercise your intellect this way, keep going. It's the college and frankly this type of program, we have a tendency to take these things for granted in the moment, in the time, but it is the one time in your life when you're going to be able to do these things without fear of like that it's taking away from something else or distracting you from something else. This is the time in your life when you are supposed to be doing what you're doing, thinking and learning and growing, and it's not taking away from, family or your hours in your job or anything like that. So keep going. If you're looking at this, there's a reason you're looking at it. There's a reason that you're actually clicking through and you've followed through now 10 minutes of us blathering on. Um, but keep going.
I love it. Well, thank you once again, Dr. Burzynski, for agreeing to be part of both the honors faculty and this Meet Our Honors Faculty interview series. I'll go ahead and get it uploaded on the YouTube, and I'm sure I will see you around the campus.
Yes, my pleasure. Thank you very much.